Alrighty everybody, welcome back to Culz Checks Out. We're back with another episode discussing Jurassic World figures, but this time we are checking out the new Jurassic World survival figures. This is Mattel's most recent lineup and definitely a little controversial as far as some of the sculpts have come out, or at least been previewed. Maybe they haven't come out quite yet. But yeah, walking around Black Friday, saw this guy, and so it actually jumped ahead of the other two I was planning to review first for you guys, so you'll see those ones within the next couple of weeks, but just stay tuned for those. We are checking out the Brachauchenius, which is definitely a much more obscure species of pliosaur. You'd kind of maybe expect it to be a pliosaur or even Kronosaurus, but I was kind of interested in the sculpt itself. Actually, not a terrible one up until, maybe we see the flippers or fins, but as far as the front half, not looking too bad. So let's take a look at the box. Up top, we see the Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth. This one has been kind of nicknamed Ember, and you see some scarring and stuff there. Just a really nice render. Down below you see more of that Jurassic World Rebirth logo with the line title Jurassic World Survival. This one does say batteries needed, 4+ and Mattel. And then of course the wild roar and the name of the genus. Above you do see that with when you press it, it should light up, so that should be pretty cool. We'll see what that one looks like. And of course these boxes are open towards the right and the top half, so that you can get a real nice look at the figure in store, just looking for any paint mishaps and stuff like that. On the top, again, just Jurassic World. A lot of these new ones have this tape going on, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. If that's just a quality issue going on in the factory. We see Jurassic World on that side of the box. On the back, you see Jurassic World, the logo again, and then the render of the figure, and it's showing how it does light up green. We'll show you guys in a dark room. Obviously it's pretty light out here. Shows the other figures, two of which I already have. Maybe I should get the other one as well. I guess we'll find out if you guys like this or not. You can see it does say scan to unlock, so much like the other ones, it has that scan feature. So I will make sure to show you that, and then of course all the different warnings. And on the bottom, again, more warnings, recycle information, and that barcode if you need it. But alright, let's get this one out of the packaging. Alright, so we do find it out of the packaging here, and I just really was showing you this part because it does show that the tail is not attached in the packaging. It is slightly bigger, so even though it is a smaller figure, it still requires some assembly. So now we see it, I guess, out in the wild, even though it should be in the water, but it's pretty cold here in Colorado. Don't feel like trekking into water right now for a figure review, but at least now you can see it side on with that tail on as well. And I think one nice thing about how the fins are set up is it does allow for the figure to sit like this. It's actually a really pretty nice figure. One I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get. I just haven't been big into the marine figures that Mattel has released. Obviously I got both mosasaurs, but that's more because they were in the film and they look pretty nice. Other than that, their takes on the marine life that haven't been in the films have been kind of odd. And here you can see it does suffer from some mutations. I think that's kind of what this line is going for, is kind of maybe a chaos theory-esque line without being so chaos theory, which I would be totally fine for, like, go even crazier. I know it's definitely gotten some rebuttal from the fan base, but as far as this one, it's not too mutated outside of its fins, which we'll talk about, and I think it has a pretty nice, like, front half sculpt. But let's see the action feature. And even in the daylight, you can see the lights coming through. It's just not as obviously visible as it would be in the darkness. Let's take a little bit closer look up at the figure. So even though this genera is lesser known in like the public zeitgeist, its discovery actually dates back to like 1884. With naming in the early 1900s, with its name being a translation of short neck, as it was one of the shorter neck pliosaurs or plesiosaurs at that time, known to science. Now it did become sort of what is called a wastebasket taxon, not as bad as like iguanodon, but we've seen with further research some specimens that were assigned to it being reassigned to new genera. It is known from like North America as well as a 2016 finding out of Morocco. So most likely North Africa as well. It obviously has that pretty standard pliosaur look to it, which I think this figure represents pretty well. Obviously it has some weird stuff going on with those fins. But as far as the head, it's not bad. It does look a little dinosaurified. Plus it does suffer from shrink wrapping. Though I do want to continue to say whoever has redesigned the teeth is doing a fantastic job. The figures since Rebirth have just had really nice sculpted teeth. And you can see lots of good detail along the jaw, and even on the bottom, kind of looks crocodilian in form. And has kind of just some of those patterning and lines that you would expect. I do like this kind of silver that's on the underside of the neck and head. I wish it would have continued down the whole body. It does have a gigantic hole for sound, but luckily for anyone wanting to take pictures with it, it does appear on the bottom. So unless you're taking pictures like this, I think most people take them like this, you won't see it. So, or even like this. But of course then it suffers from where the button is, but not terrible. You can see that eye is orangish in color with a little red slit, and then you see like lighter white or blue right there, kind of striping on the back with really bulky muscles going on through the back. I mean, it is very much front heavy. If you looked at it from here, you'd expect a lot different than just like a quick tapering off. Might just be the size of the figure as well. Alright, let's see how it looks like doing the action feature up close. You can even see some of the light coming through a little bit better, as well as just more of the sculpting of how the teeth interlock. Really, really nice look. It kind of looks a little bit weird there, but when it comes together, it looks good. Just imagine it coming out. And here you can see it a little bit more with that green flashing through. So the bodies aren't as obviously thick, or more just a clear translucent nature to the actual mold. But we'll show you more in the dark there. As you can see, some lines continue here. And that brings us to the flukes or fins. Very odd. They all have these like holy kind of structures going throughout them. And you would think for an animal trying to swim, that would probably just create drag and make it not the best at pursuing prey. So a little strange, and they are massive. They actually do have a lot of mobility as well. As you can see, you can push them almost straight out, more in a natural kind of swimming manner. But yeah, look how just massive they are. Which, you know, would probably be needed. This creature, from the holotype of the animal, is estimated to be at 17 feet in length. So definitely a pretty big animal. I mean, you put that in the waters today, it's going to quickly become one of the apex predators. And you can see some nice lining going down to the tail, which has a like pseudo fluke. Perhaps most people think mainly just on the top. But this is kind of something we've also seen in PNSO with their Coronosaurus, so not too shabby. Let's do one quick comparison. Alright, so for the comparisons, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Mainly because I don't have any other figures of this species to compare it with, and I don't collect a ton of the marine ones. So I'm going to start it off with this one. A pretty iconic figure, I think. If you grew up like I did in the 90s, you'll definitely recognize it. So I think it's a good figure to compare it with, and that is the Carnegie Elasmosaurus figure. I think most people have seen this figure, or at least maybe a lot of you guys have actually had it. So I thought this was a good size comparison for what you can see. Obviously they're not very closely related animals at all. They are both plesiosaurs, but that one's a pliosaur. But as you can see, Mattel's offering is larger, but this one's going to be quickly dwarfed by the Mosasaurus from Rebirth, which, yeah, just not even a comparison. You can see it just dwarfing it here, which is perhaps not so crazy. The largest Mosasaurus got around 50 feet, if not a tad over. And like I said earlier, this little guy was about 17 feet, so not even half the size, and I think the figure represents that. Alright, there's the scan code for anyone that does need it. But now that we are inside and can do the proper lighting test, let's see what this one looks like. Here goes the lighting test in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, not a terrible figure. I gotta say, was pretty impressed when I saw it in the store. Wasn't actually looking to pick it up, but when I saw it in person, I was like, that is not bad. Definitely grew on me quite a bit, and glad I picked it up. Like I said, not huge into the marine figures that come out, and the Elasmosaurus or Plesiosaurus, whatever one they got going on here for this new lineup, looks strange. If you guys want me to review it, obviously I will. But on my own volition, probably wouldn't be picking that one up. But this one, not too terrible. I think you can hide enough with the weird mutations. Also, if you're not into that, that you can enjoy the figure and use it for some nice photography, or it has some nice play features. If people are looking for it for that, I think it'll work well for that as well. But for more Culz Checks Out, click that link to your left. I believe it is Nano Tyrannus. For more from us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, what other figures should we be checking out? Tell us in the comments below.